Wonderful. So I'm curious about your initial marketing. Like, how would one go about, letting this particular market know
Yeah,
that such a thing exists? So one disadvantages of being not having any competition is that you have to educate
exactly. Exactly. So the
your
first
market.
mover, a big disadvantage that nobody else is even spending a dime on it, right? So, so one thing we were very clear, and I say this multiple times: my first 100 customers cannot be my friends.
Right.
My first librarians were not our friends. You know, people who have invested as a franchise and all of that, they cannot be our friends,
Okay.
right? So we did follow that. I could have easily gone to 100 known friends and family and said, hey, why don't you try this plan? uh, they would have tried it. I would have felt happy because they would have told me to feel happy, you know. So what we did as a initial challenge, of course, we used social media marketing to slowly expand and brand, but we were present in probably all possible places where I can meet parents. So we did a lot of exhibitions, school events, societies. I traveled city to city. I had team to travel city to city. You wanted to be there, seen
Right.
between your customers, and that is where the real inputs came in, right? I mean, and that is where we got our first 100 customers. I was not relying on getting it from Meta, Google, or the social media of the world. You wanted your physical first 100 customers.
Right.
You talk to them. I would literally know my first, if not 100, 50, 75 customers by name and by their location. How did I get them? So that was the kind of involvement that you had, so that you're aware what is turning them on and what is turning them off, because it's a new concept entirely. So yeah, I mean, for us it was more of being on the ground that really mattered initially.
Yeah. Yeah. I could, especially for this type of business.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Wow. If I may ask, though, in the social media marketing side, which platforms did you use? I'm guessing probably Facebook, Insta.
Instagram was the main one. Instagram, Facebook, and a bit of LinkedIn.
Right.
That really helped us. I always wish that Quora, Reddit, and platforms like this also works really well if you can tap them nicely.
Right.
They are a great medium.
Hmm.
But yeah, I mean, for us, Instagram was one of the thing initially.
Absolutely. Yeah. I would imagine. Any YouTube
Yeah, we do have a YouTube channel as well. I mean, sorry, yeah.
probably showing some customer
Showing some customer
satisfaction
satisfaction about the
videos. Yeah.
platform, about the things. Whatever was to go on Instagram used to be on YouTube as well as YouTube Shorts. So something that we followed the basic trend. However, the metric of YouTube were not seen that aggressively, and probably still date it's not seen very effectively as much as you see Instagram for that matter.
Any challenges that came up that you might stand out in your mind that you could tell us about?
No, I think
Right.
apart from, say, I mean, I might tell you today after a year and a half of running this, that hey, we set up processes and systems, but the daily life of that setting up was not easy first. So of course that's more operational. But one of the thing that we had realized is that it's actually zero knowledge to a customer of such a model. So I have to explain, break the stigma around using a used product, breaking the stigma that it's the time for edutainment and not just entertainment, where people feel that toys are purely entertainment, waste of time and all of that. So all of that, and finding your right TG who is actually looking for something like this was initially a challenge. And we, from hearing the fact that I will end up buying, I will prefer buy, my kid will break the toys, I mean, which is
Happens.
a myth. It's a myth.
Okay.
So I'll tell you very candidly, kids genuinely don't break toys apart from the say a remote control car, right? I mean, that
Right.
product does not have a life.
Right.
But kids normally break it when you keep giving them the same thing. So
Okay.
if you tell them, okay, this is gonna be exchanged, just take care of it,
Right.
they'll take care of it like hell. I mean, my own
Okay.
daughter,
Okay.
she's 3 years today. She was an early subscriber, right? She does not know that I run EleFant. For her, it's a subscription platform that keeps coming. She takes care of her toys like anything.
I think it also depends from child to child. Some kids may
Our
be.
damage
Yeah.
percentages is as low as 0.05% or lesser than that.
Really.
Yes. I mean, probably less than 20 instances of damages. Because, see, there are two things. One, a modern day parent also does not teach this. Second, the kid is also very clear. They are way too smart. A 3-year-old kid understands that if I break this, my new box will not come.
Right.
He does not know who bears the damage and all that.
Yeah, he doesn't know all the details.
He does not care about it, but he knows if I don't keep this nicely, my new box will not come,
Right.
and which is precious to him or her, right?
Absolutely.
So that is where it is. And if it is changed, if you see common examples, whenever they get a new toy, they're very excited. They'll play for it for a week, like that's their best friend.
Yes.
But now when after a week or 10 days you keep pushing the same thing to them, that is where they start getting aggressive. Need a change.
Right.
And then they'll probably throw it, break it, or do whatever it is.
Right.
And because as a parent you feel you have owned it, you will also not say no at times. Right?
So talking about breakage, what is the policy like if a parent gets a toy on rent for his children and they break it, whatever, some accident happens, whatever. So then they have to pay the full price, I suppose.
No. So there are 2-3 things in your statement. One, we don't call it a rental platform.
Okay.
We are a pure subscription platform. Many reasons. There is no per toy price. It's like a club or a gym membership, right? When you go to a gym, you don't say that, okay, hey, what's the rent for the dumbbell? What's the rent for the treadmill? What's the rent for doing this and this activity, right? It's a membership, right? You walk in, you take whatever you want to do and you come back. Same is for club and all of that. We want to give that kind of an experience. And that is the experience that we end up giving to our parents. That you take whichever toy you want, you play as long as you want, and you don't have to worry. Now, coming to a damage policy, we are very, very child friendly, I would say. Damage is completely on us. There is also a damage waiver. It's kind of I would not really say it an insurance, but yeah, there is a damage waiver, sort of a provision for us. They take a damage waiver and they can play
like
freely.
A premium subscription.
It's just about adding some premium
Small
to
amount.
and then they play freely. All damages are on us.
Nice.
They don't have to worry about anything. The only thing is they have to return us the damaged product.
Yes.
That's it.
That's
But
reasonable.
that you don't, otherwise you don't have to worry about. And it's also about curation, right? I know in which business I am.
Yeah.
So we don't have a remote control car, as I said, which is a toy that breaks very frequently.
Right.
We
or
are
a
talking-
model airplane.
A model airplane.
Yeah, those.
What we talk about is high quality wood, paper, plastic. So now neither the plastic can be broken nor woods can be broken. Right? Books definitely, but then you have binded books, strong books, and all of that. So unless somebody is like intentionally tearing a page, right? Apart from that, it does not happen.
Right.
And today, even child is smart enough. Even parent is not promoting, right? उनके घर में टीवी है, फ्रिज है, उनका phone है, everything is there for them, right? If they say कि हाँ, child, hey, I have a damage waiver on these toys, go ahead and break it, then imagine what all is there at their home to possibly break it. So that's the idea. We don't want them to feel restricted while playing. We want them to enjoy as much as they want. And that is where the efforts of curation come into play. There might be certain toys which might be great, but because they are inherently very weak, we might have to not put them on our platform.
Right. I'm curious, now talking so much about toys, which toy types are the most popular and which are kind of not so popular? So
I think not so popular the country is still to evolve on edutainment, I would say. Again, repeating the same word because it's an important word to say.
Right.
So when there is too much of high education involved, right, and it involves a parent, we are still a little off from there.
Right.
Though they love it, they will appreciate everything, but when it comes to ordering them, they might just take a step back.
Gotcha.
But toys like pretend play, which is like maybe a kitchen set or a doctor set or a fire engineer set or a magnetic tiles, Legos, block making, which a child's creativity can be enhanced. Those are the most famous ones. My personal suggestions and why we feel this, we want people to order games that are both educational in nature and can create a bond. I will probably tell a story like every day, right? It's been tough days of working. Now, when I go back to home, I do nothing. I just play half an hour with my daughter Anna. With any EleFant toy that has come out, right? Every week I also need a change. So it's not the same toy that you play with. And you play half an hour, you enjoy a game. We all love playing games. You and your daughter create a lot of bond together. And that is how you do it, right?
That's the really ultimate sort of goal satisfaction point, is the parents bond with the children.
Correct, absolutely.
That's
And there is nothing better than toys. So, and why do I say, like in offices, we always say icebreaker through games. Okay, now with an unknown person, you're breaking ice through games.
right.
Why not with your child, right?
Actually, that's a great way you can expand also, is adult games for events, meetings,
Absolutely.
corporate.
Absolutely, yes. But okay, I mean, I think our segment and the market is so huge, and we don't want to probably move away from being a
Right.
education and subscription platform. It's a great business model to be a rental company. Rental company for corporates, for offices, for large parties, events, etc. But probably we are more in becoming a subscription platform, an education platform. So if I have to summarize in one line, we are trying to be a learning and development platform following a library ethos and using toy as a learning aid. That's it.
I had an interesting question. Now, back when I was a child, I loved Lego, right?
Correct.
And back then it was a foreign product.
Yes.
And they were very strict, custom, The only way you could get one if someone came and brought it in the luggage
Correct.
for you. So, what is the scenario now? Like, does your market prefer foreign toys that probably are more difficult to get and are more expensive, or India-made toys, or what's if I may ask?
So, Indian market is still flooded with Chinese products. Okay, even though there are a lot of strict restrictions, and I'm sure government is working on it, there is still a lot of inflow of Chinese products, right? Which is neither great for the child nor great for the environment. They are harmful as well.
Right.
So parents do prefer, well-made, BIS certified, high-quality wood products or plastic products also, but high-quality products. There is a demand for foreign products. It's difficult to import today.
Right.
If you want to go with the official route, it's very difficult. Of course, I don't know of an unofficial route, but officially it's very difficult because of the high cost of import duty that it has. So parents are very aligned to use good quality toys, whether they are Indian, whether they are foreign, does not matter to them too much. Talking about brands like Lego and Mattel and everything, I think they still have their roots in India, so that's okay. So you still get them quite easily in India. That is not a problem. But yeah, I mean, I still feel there are a lot of UK and US based toys which can be introduced in India, and which are due yet. So that way, yes.
So that raises an interesting question. Do you have different subscription levels? For example, at a lower cost, you get certain toy range, but then at a higher cost, you get the more expensive toys. Is that kind of the model, or no?
No. So and this is more personal. As a brand, as an individual who is running this, I completely feel that you cannot put a value to a toy and the learning with it.
Yeah.
For an example, you talk about a card game. Okay, simple card game. Any card game cannot cost more than 500 rupees. That's the most expensive card game will be 400-500 rupees. And any good wooden pretend play toy cannot be less than 3,000, 4,000 rupees. Right? But what a card game can teach you, flashcards and a card game, and what a kitchen set and a wooden, such kind of pretend play can teach you are very different. Now, you don't want to say that because you can pay more, your kid should only play with toys that are of higher value, because probably they'll miss on a lot of good things. So we don't show value to parents at all. We want them to choose what is right. As I said, right, we want to be a subscription platform, a membership platform. You take everything, no?
Right.
So
for that one price,
everything is available. You don't have to worry about it.
Nice.
And no discrimination as such.
Okay. Well, wonderful. If it works from a marketing perspective, what?
No,
wonderful.
it.
Well, I was just
have
thinking.
got customers. I mean, a funny incident. I've got customers who came to our. So we were having a stall in one of the event. Who came to our stall and said, "सबसे महंगा वाला plan दे दो." And there are people, right, who want the most expensive one.
Right.
They understood the concept, they loved it, and without even looking at the price, they said, "Give me the most expensive one." I said, "I just have two, either a quarter or an annual.
Right.
I don't have differences." So, I mean, of course, he ended up buying whatever was available.
Right.
But yeah, I mean, there are people like that.
But just out of curiosity, someone, kind of poor, they may not be able to take your, or
Correct.
the plan might be too expensive for them, but if you could offer a budget plan that the
So we are
poorer
reasonably
level of
poised
society.
today. So if I have to tell you the pricing also, we are reasonably priced. We are talking about 800 rupees a month for a year. That's about 10,000 a year, in which you can have 3 toys at a time and you can have unlimited deliveries. So the value that a person can get is way too high. Uh, can lower class take it, afford it? I mean, yes, they can. But is that the right TG for us as a brand? Possibly no, because see, there are other challenges that they have in life. Would we want to do something which is more budget friendly? Yes. We are working on it, but possibly you don't want to confuse. See, at the end of the day, you're also doing a business, right? You don't want to confuse your target audience versus doing good to people who probably are not your target audience. And if somebody understands the value, so I've seen both. I've seen probably somebody which comes from a very humble background taking this plan because they were very passionate about their child's education, learning and development and games, etc. Versus somebody who had enough money but decided not to take it, thinking, yeah, okay, my child is good with mobile phones also. So I think the value level pe we are very fairly placed. Anyone and everyone can afford us. Uh, it's all about, as a parent or as a family, what is your inclination towards. If you're somebody who is inclined towards a particular way of growth of your child, you will buy it. We are happy to support in whatever. So we have no cost TMIs, we have other benefits available which possibly can support them, and we are more than happy aligning it. So yeah, but that's the way. So we are still looking at that.
So, one thing I definitely want to get into a little bit about this is, as you said, it's an operation heavy business. So, tell us a little bit about the operations, the challenges. I'm sure you work with a lot of third parties. Um, Anything you can, any advice you can give us in
So,
that?
I mean, I'll just probably explain in 30 seconds how does it work for us first.
Okay.
So, we have created our centers across the country. And when I say creating centers, we have partnered with librarians. We sort of impact on a women empowerment. So, promoting empowerment opportunities to women who have prioritized their family over their career. So they can start a library from their home. That becomes a center. They will get an order, pack it, keep it. We pick it up the next day, deliver it. We give back them the returns. They will clean, sanitize, and put it back. So there's a clear partnership. They handle our operations of the back end, and we take care of sales, technology, and logistics. So we are sort of asset light, and they are sort of relaxed because sales is not their responsibility. So that is one of the, the entire model that has been built around it, right, from an operational standpoint. Secondly, of course, delivery. Delivery today is a big challenge with traffic, with cost, and everything else. Thirdly, making sure availability of people. Uh, today people are not available at their home a lot of times. So dropping it, bringing back the return, and all of that are challenging. We are still learning. We are there. My only thing that worked for us is uh, keep doing it, and you will always have to think of probably 10,000 extra users. So whenever we build something, we sort of build it that if I would have had 5,000 more users, it should run.
Okay, yeah, the
So
tolerance.
the tolerance is very, very important. You cannot start an operations for just in time.
Yes.
I mean,
Or at least as a startup. Maybe once you're
for
like
for anything maybe. I mean, you can have a just in time for inventory,
yes.
right? Because it's a product. You got a
Yeah.
product, but when it's an operation heavy business, you cannot have a just in time. Okay, if supposedly today I get 100 more users, I'll get a vehicle today. That cannot happen. You'll always have to be a little ahead of its time. So initially we do have a non-optimized vehicle usage. So if somebody can come and say, yeah, okay, you have got a vehicle, but that vehicle probably as against doing 20 orders is just doing 10 orders. It's underutilized. But that's a fact because you're prepared for a little
Right.
ahead.
Right.
You cannot run at 100 on 100. I cannot have a vehicle for only 10 orders today, and then tomorrow when I get suddenly 15, I just fail myself operationally. So that is one of the things that we have always been trying.
Did you, you mentioned about the delivery and the challenges. So is that, I'm guessing that's outsourced to some sort of...
So we have our own, you can say we have third-party logistics from whom we have hired vehicles dedicatedly running for us.
Okay, but you handle the actual
So we don't handle the
coordination
vehicle
of it.
buying. Yeah, we handle the actual coordination.
Wow,
We
okay.
don't handle the vehicle
That
buying.
must be something.
Yeah. So there is a logistic team dedicated to doing.
If I may ask, why not go with some of these Zepto, Borzo type companies?
So what happens is their availability is a challenge.
Okay, is it? Okay.
Because you cannot keep ordering every time. So for smaller cities, it still work.
No.
If I'm getting say 2 orders a day, it's still convenient. But if you're getting 20-30 orders a day from a particular location, then you cannot. You'll have to probably have everything picked up at one go and somebody logistically does it. So everything starts with this. It can be a good starting point. So like for an example, I can give an example in cities like Indore when we started. Limited customers. We started with say 10 customers in first 15 days. Moved to 20, 30, 40. So we are first using the Borzos and the Porters of the world, the two-wheelers. Then slowly moved to a hiring of a two-wheeler, a dedicated two-wheeler guy. Then moved to a three-wheeler. Now probably run a four-wheeler that way.
Wow. And then of course these guys, they'll late or whatever. And then
we can have another podcast on their issues.
I'm sure wow.
That's it. See, today's logistic world has gone crazy because too many opportunities are available.
Yes. Like too much
demand.
It's
like the most, if you are from supply chain, the hardest reality and the funniest meme that you'll find is somebody wearing a zippy helmet with a Swiggy t-shirt and a Zomato bag. Yes. I'm not sure if you have seen that, but that's too common.
Right.
Yeah. And that is what it is.
Wow.
No loyalty at all. And that is where these brands are also facing a challenge.
Right. So that's where you probably... And then what that ends up with is it comes late to the customer. So now you got to handle complaints.
Absolutely, yes. The only good part is we are not into a life-saving drug or we are not into food or anything. So that way at times it's easy to probably like out of 100, maybe 2 or 3 or 4 customers are probably pissed on delayed deliveries. But otherwise, most of them are sort of understanding.
That ties in nicely to the next question, which is customer handling, service and all that. So do you have a team for that as well?
Yes.
Like on the phones and all?
On the phones and all. There's a dedicated WhatsApp communication. There's a customer care on phone and all of that. So as I said, right, when I say operationally heavy, these are the things you cannot do without a logistic team. You cannot do without a customer care. You cannot.
So how many people do you have?
So we today have more than 45 people.
Yeah, I would imagine. Yeah. You need
including sales. Wow. Because for us, sales also is like people will download the app, but they have not understood. Even if they have understood, they just don't want to rely on their understanding. Right. So we sort of have an inside sales team calling them, explaining them.
So every time an app is installed and an account created, a salesperson calls and says, "Can I help you? Can I answer any questions?"
Yes. Wow, yes. So you have to do that. Otherwise, you never know why a customer didn't take it.
Wow. Yeah, that's just so much work.
Yes, absolutely.
So we are getting close to running out of time here. Do you have any? That was a wonderful session. Really loved it. Got a lot of valuable insights there. Any final bits of advice you could give to someone who's thinking of doing a startup, who has started on working on a startup?
I think from an advice standpoint and whatever I have learned, it's still early days for me. One is you need to have a blueprint. An idea is great.
When you say blueprint, you mean what at the beginning?
At the beginning, right? A stage by stage, what will happen? It's easy to simulate, right? Today, I simulate the entire day even after starting. Right. I simulate what happens if tomorrow I get 100 customers. I simulate what happens if one customer has, say, said a complaint around toy availability. Then what happens if 100 does? So, you need to end up simulating at least the basic scenarios that can happen, find a solution to it, resolve it and move ahead.
Kind of almost like a test.
Almost like a test. And that can be a pure mental test.
Right.
You don't even need to actually see that, right? You can
even stage a test.
Yeah, you can. Staging at times is still biased. I would say when you hypothetically keep thinking of situations, probably it's easy.
Right.
And then you're prepared. Like for an example, I'm prepared today for a fact that, okay, there can be certain delays. We commit one day, but there can be 2 days.
Right.
I'm prepared for it. It's like that 80-20.
And then you build the contingencies.
Exactly. You build the contingencies. You also build a provision that out of 100, probably only 1 or 2 customers might take it very harshly. That, hey, you missed your deadlines. Otherwise, people will understand if you explain them. But sanitization, for that matter, for us, I mean, probably 100 out of 90 will not take it.
Yes.
Right? So that is how you prioritize. Which failure is gonna be the biggest impact. So I today don't spend the energies on the wrong problems, and you solve the ones that are more important. Secondly, I mean, you need to have and what I said earlier as well, the first customers, the first investors, the first backers can't be your friends and family.
Yes. I've heard that over and over again.
Matlab, you will always stay in a delusion.
Yes,
You'll
because they will try and make you happy. And
so you'll always stay in a delusion. Thirdly, I mean, I still feel customer is definitely a great asset, but not everything what customer says makes sense.
Yes.
If I call up a customer and say, hey, can you give me a feedback? He'll definitely give you a feedback. I mean, I can tell you that I have issues with Taj Mahal also. You know, if I was asked to comment on a Taj Mahal, I will probably end up commenting few things that probably this could have been that way, that could have been that way, right? I mean, so customers will always have something which is beyond reasonable. You need to decide that what is reasonable. And one thing that I've learned is don't be 10 on 10. Be probably 8 on 10, but consistent 8 on 10.
Yes, consistency.
So if you're a consistent average 8 on 10, people are happy.
Right.
And the best example maybe is DMart. I mean, the shopping experiences DMart is probably very average.
Yes.
You know, but we all go to DMart, right? It's a very average, but they're very consistent. You'll get the same okayish to poorish experience every time.
But the inventory is always there.
Inventory is always there, right? Whereas you go to a hyper bazaar or something great, the experience is top notch. They might end up offering you a tea also, but then you don't get what you want. They don't get the price what you want.
Right.
So that's the point.
Right.
So I think
Wonderful, wonderful. Well, thank you so much, Sourabh, for joining us. That was very, very valuable. I had a wonderful time, and I got a lot of valuable insights for my own startup, which
awesome.
which I'm going to incorporate. So,
yes.
So, all of you, everyone's our information, Saurabh's information, and his startup's information will be down in the description of the podcast. And also feel free to comment on the video and start a lively discussion and conversation around it. And other than that, we'll see you next time. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.